If there's anything that bothers any nation as now is the issue about food and food security. A couple of other things that you've seen in that report, especially as it relates to the displaced persons, more so for a nation in recession. Joining us to look at food security is Kanayo Nwanze. He's the President, International Fund for Agricultural Development based in Rome. Good to have you join us this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Quickly, let's start by getting an insight into what IFAD is about.
Well, thank you. IFAD, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, is a specialized agency of the United Nations, but is essentially an international financing institution that invests in the rural areas of the developing world. Basically rural populations, working through and with governments by providing very low interest, highly concessional loans and grants. We headquartered in Italy, in Rome, with two other agencies on food and agriculture, the FAO, as well as the World Food Programme. But as I said, we are a financial institution. We have offices currently in 40 countries, one here in Nigeria, in Abuja. So we have an office in Abuja. And Nigeria in particular, actually Nigeria receives about 40% of our total investment in the West and Central Africa region, which is quite huge. We have financed about 10 projects, starting as far back as 1988 or 89, I believe. Currently, 3 of these projects are ongoing. One in rural finance, one in climate change adaptation, and one also in value chain development.
You know, in all of this, what really comes to mind is the rural financing, which is very, very key here. And you said you just only returned from, is it Delta State? You know, if you look at some of the activities happening in our rural communities, by now one would have thought would have been a nation food sufficiency and having more than enough to even take out of the country, with 40%, which is quite huge, coming from IFAD to Nigeria. There must be some relative, expectation or success from the action of IFAD. Let's look at so many of those issues as it relates to Nigeria and see how best this can help our economy. Is there any kind of positive action in place?
But you know, the agricultural sector in Africa, contrary to what you will hear, is actually improving. The agricultural sector, in the sense that production has increased in many countries. But I think, again, the agricultural sector, which is rural, lacks appropriate investment. And this is basically the key. I mean, investment in terms of not just financing, of course, but infrastructure, basic infrastructure. And this is not just typical to Nigeria, it's typical to the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. You're right. Nigeria in particular, and most of sub-Saharan Africa, is resource rich. All aspects of it, you know, whether it's extractive industries or commodities, but human resources as well. We're one of the regions with the largest youth population. Almost 225 million of our population below the age of 25, actually between 15 and 25. And we expect by 2035 another close to 2 million a year added to that, and of entering the job market. Africa as a whole, Southern Africa is home to over 50% of all available agricultural land that is yet to be exploited. When it comes to the mineral sector, 30% of all extractive industry is in Africa, from bauxite to diamonds to gold to oil, gas. I mean, I can list them to you. But I think there's been a lack of continuity in policies. That's one. And there's been a lack of what I call sometimes national pride. You know, and I will be honest, also lack of committed, dedicated leadership at all levels of our society. When you put all of this together, you can see the difficulties. Simple impediments to investment. You know, the last couple of years, we know there's been a drop in total foreign direct investment into Nigeria, of many causes, of course. You know, of course, you have the overall recession, but also you have insecurity in parts of the country, which is a disinvestment, a disincentive to investments. But overall, I think we have neglected adequate investment into the rural space. And let's face it, there's no nation in the world that I know of that transformed itself into a developed country without going through an agricultural transformation. It's basic. If you are not able to feed your people, then you are forced to spend a lot of your own foreign exchange in the import of food. Now, you take a country like Nigeria that has such huge potential in terms of land, in terms of the agroecology. Think about any agroecology for growing crops. We have it.